Caitlin Clark is not on the ballot, is not in that top 5 for MVP, people are going to lose their mind, because at this point, it would once again just be a hit on her. It would just be keeping her out so that we didn't praise the golden child too much.
Is Caitlin Clark being unfairly snubbed for the MVP award? The WNBA's most exciting rookie is tearing up the court, shattering records, and redefining what it means to be valuable.
Caitlin was on her way to shattering the all-time single-season turnover record. With 15 games to go, Caitlin Clark is starting to push A'ja Wilson for MVP of this league, and I am not exaggerating. She is starting to push A'ja as the best player in the league, because I don't see anybody control a game the way Caitlin can.
But despite her jaw-dropping stats and game-changing impact, she's not even in the MVP conversation. Could the league be overlooking a true game-changer to avoid too much praise for the golden child? In this video, we dive deep into the controversy, break down the stats, and question whether the WNBA's MVP criteria are missing the mark.
Do you think about it as the single best, most skilled player in the league, which right now is A'ja Wilson? Give her the crown, that is absolutely hers. Or is it the most valuable and most impactful to the team?
Buckle up, because this is more than just about one player. It's about the future of women's basketball.
Those women that are petty and jealous and have some animus towards Caitlin Clark, that's old school sport. We got a good guy and a bad guy. We got real competition.
Subscribe to our channel to stay ahead with the latest basketball deep dives, analyses, and updates. Join a community of passionate fans and support us in creating exciting content for you. Don't miss out. Subscribe now.
Getting to the honorable mention, they have Caitlin Clark, and this is what they had to say about Caitlin Clark. While the Fever underwent understandable woes in the first month of the season, Indiana is 14-6 over their last 20 games, including 2 massive wins coming out of the All-Star break. Clark has found a synergy with her teammates and elite comfort on the floor as a facilitator and creator. She's knocking on the door of first-team All-W and top 5 finish in MVP voting. I don't think she's knocking on the floor of first team. I think she's in there, and I'm gonna go out on a limb right here and say that she is top 3.
Can you believe the latest news? The WNBA rookie standout Caitlin Clark, known for her exceptional performance on the court, has shockingly been left off the MVP ladder. But that's not all. Sports commentator Rachel Demeter has voiced her strong discontent and is gearing up to uncover the entire controversy.
If you even talk about MVP, you have to be like, well, of course A'ja Wilson's running away with it. Like, you cannot even have any kind of constructive conversation around MVP unless you preface it by saying, well, I already know that A'ja Wilson won. Like, that's the standard. If you talk about this conversation, which I think is a little weird, I feel like we should be able to just talk about it.
You don't want to miss her thoughts on the recent decision made by the WNBA. Let's discuss Clark for a moment. She has been performing exceptionally well, averaging over 25 points per game since the All-Star break.
The WNBA has had several white superstars before Caitlin: Breanna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. But as great as they've been, they can't pass the ball like Caitlin can. They can't orchestrate and control games like Caitlin Clark can.
It's not just her scoring that's impressive. She has also been instrumental in leading the Indiana Fever to an impressive 14-6 record.
I've got the fever. I can't help it. I can't stop watching. I can't stop talking about the impact Caitlin Clark is having on game after game after game.
Given her exceptional performance, one can't help but wonder why she is not being included in the MVP conversation. Rachel Demeter is making a bold statement in response to the WNBA's decision, and she's not holding back.
If you watch A'ja play, you can see how she dominates the game. Like, she's an incredible player. Is she a better player overall right now than Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier? Yes. Is she a more valuable player to her team than Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier? That is where I'm not sure.
Demeter has articulated compelling reasons as to why Clark should be included in that elite group, and her passionate perspective is definitely worth listening to. Get ready for an eye-opening analysis. The WNBA may have made a significant error, and Rachel is poised to unveil the reasons behind it. Get ready to face reality.
The MVP award is subjective. It's very hard to just go by numbers and hand out this award. We saw it this season with the NBA MVP award when the Joker won it again 3 years in a row, and Shaq came out and said, "I respect your game. However, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have won the award."
I'm not happy with this one. Congratulations to Joker. You are the best big man in the league, but based on everybody's criteria, my criteria, stat stuffer, you guys' criteria, number one seed, which team has a better record, I felt Shai Alexander deserved it.
The statistics have been compiled, and they reveal a compelling narrative that will challenge your perceptions of the MVP race. How does Caitlin Clark truly compare to the perceived frontrunners? Prepare to be surprised by the answer.
My top three: A'ja Wilson, Caitlin Clark, and Napheesa Collier. If we look at their stats, A'ja wipes the floor with both of them. The only categories that she doesn't have are assists, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage. Caitlin has all of those. She is tied for steals with Napheesa.
Clark is not simply a good player. She has taken her game to another level. She currently leads the WNBA in points generated, a statistic that encompasses the points she scores as well as the points she creates through assists. Her exceptional performance makes her a dual threat on the court. She is not only filling up the stat sheet with her outstanding play, but also rewriting it with her impressive contribution to the game.
She takes over, she maestros, she controls game after game after game with her passing and her carefully chosen spots to score. Her three-point shooting has heated up, and nobody in the league can flick logo threes as effortlessly as Caitlin can.
When comparing Clark to other MVP candidates, it becomes apparent why Rachel Demeter is so enthusiastic. Despite being ranked lower on the MVP ladder, Clark is excelling in various statistical categories. He is averaging more assists, steals, and three-pointers per game than several players who are ranked higher. This unexpected performance raises the question of how Clark is able to outperform other candidates in these areas.
When I hear media and WNBA analysts saying, like, it's unanimous, it's A'ja, if you think any other way, you're just absolutely wrong, like, I don't think that's actually fair to say.
In 2008, Candace Parker's rookie season in the WNBA was nothing short of legendary. Known for her exceptional skills on the court, Parker averaged an impressive 18.5 points per game, setting a high bar for rookies entering the league. Fast forward to the present, and we have a rookie sensation named Caitlin Clark, who is making waves with her outstanding performance. Surpassing even Parker in important statistics like assists and steals, Clark's extraordinary talent is undeniable.
If we look at Candace Parker's stat line for the 2008 season, she averaged 18.5 points per game. Caitlin is currently averaging more points than that. Candace has more rebounds by a solid amount. But look at these other stats. Caitlin is averaging more assists, more steals, more three-pointers per game, and a higher free throw percentage.
Despite her exceptional contributions to the league, many are left wondering why she isn't higher on the MVP ladder. This has sparked a passionate response from Rachel Demeter, who boldly questioned whether the WNBA is intentionally overlooking Clark's remarkable achievements. Could there be a deliberate effort to suppress Clark's rise to stardom in the league?
The goalpost for Caitlin continues to move. It's like the better she does, the further they move their expectations or what she would need to do.
The current MVP ladder ranks players like Alyssa Thomas, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu ahead of Clark. But when you closely examine their stats, it's unclear whether their performance justifies their rankings. This has left both fans and analysts perplexed, prompting questions about what factors might be influencing the rankings behind the scenes.
If Caitlin Clark is not on the ballot, is not in that top 5 for MVP, people are going to lose their mind, because at this point, it would once again just be a hit on her. It would just be keeping her out so that we didn't praise the golden child too much.
Is there an additional factor influencing this situation? For reasons unspecified, it's evident that the evaluation criteria used in the WNBA are causing significant concern. But before delving into statistical analysis, it's crucial to understand the intricacies of how MVPs are actually selected. The selection process is so intricate that even the most knowledgeable individuals can't reach a consensus. However, Rachel Demeter has provided insights that will cause you to reevaluate everything you know about the WNBA's decision-making process.
When we talk about most valuable player, I think it is also fair to note that the Aces have a stacked roster. There are 4 women on that team who were on Team USA. The Minnesota Lynx, not as much, and the Fever had 0 players that played for Team USA and were also the worst team in the WNBA last season. And while after the Olympic break, Caitlin Clark is putting up insane numbers, she's averaging over 25 points since the Olympic break.
The question may come to mind. Given Clark's impressive stats, why isn't she ranked higher on the MVP ladder? The answer to that question is far from straightforward. It's best to turn to Rachel Demeter for an explanation that will truly surprise you. MVP status isn't solely about statistics, as Demeter astutely points out. She delves into the subjective nature of the MVP award, drawing comparisons to previous NBA MVP debates. Her analysis serves to highlight the long-standing controversies surrounding the selection of the most valuable player.
She has not only become a better player, but she has made her teammates substantially better, and they are now winning games.
Now let's delve into the intricacies of the situation. Demeter is delving into the fundamental principles behind the designation of MVP status. Should it solely be determined by individual prowess, or should the impact on the team also be a significant factor?
When we talk about the value to the team, A'ja Wilson is absolutely valuable to that team. However, they have other players who are also so valuable and can take over the game and are leaders and are veterans.
The WNBA appears to be altering the criteria, potentially complicating the path to recognition for players like Clark. But there's an additional layer to consider. Demeter's analysis extends beyond Clark, encompassing a broader assessment of player worth. Her perspective on this matter is truly thought-provoking. Demeter's bold statement revolves around the comparative value of basketball players in the context of the MVP race. They emphasize that Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier bear a greater burden for their teams compared to A'ja, and make a case for factoring in the level of contribution to the team's success when determining the MVP. It's an interesting perspective that adds complexity to the discussion around individual player value and team performance.
One more thing on Caitlin, which makes her super valuable, is she is leading the WNBA in points generated, which means points scored and or points assisted on. She is leading the league by a significant margin, and she is doing this as a rookie with a Fever team that is not comprised of a bunch of all-stars.
Let's analyze this further. A'ja Wilson undeniably stands out as a top player, but her performance is on a team that is abundantly talented. The Aces boast an impressive roster. In this context, it raises the question of how we can accurately assess A'ja Wilson's impact compared to someone like Clark, who appears to be significantly altering the dynamics of her team, all on her own.
We got to give Caitlin Clark more respect, because at this point, the goalpost keeps getting moved. And if they continue to play like they're playing, the Fever are going to make a run in the playoffs. And that might sound crazy for me to say, but this team is starting to gel.
Demeter has contested the idea that A'ja Wilson should be the unanimous choice for MVP.
A'ja Wilson is unanimous MVP. There's no debating it. If you watch A'ja play, you can see how she dominates the game. Like, she's an incredible player.
She believes we should consider the entire picture, not just the statistics or team record. The decision to overlook Clark seems like a significant oversight. It raises questions about the WNBA's assessment of her potential impact. This could go beyond just ignoring a new player. It might be disregarding a transformative talent that is reshaping the concept of value within a team. The discussion is centered around the fact that she also has the stats to back up her performance. Many are questioning the fairness of the MPV criteria and suggesting that they should be clearer.
Caitlin Clark is becoming the best player in the entire WNBA, not because she's white, because she's that good. She's having Larry Bird impact. She's been the driving force of the hottest team in the entire league, despite her record turnovers. Why? Because she's that good. She's legit good. She's colorblind good. She's guilt-free good. She's apolitically good.
Demita's inquiries are generating a significant amount of heated debate. The focus has shifted from Clark to how players in women's basketball are valued. Beyond Clark's individual situation, the oversight has sparked broader concerns about the WNBA's future. It's becoming clear that the entire landscape of women's basketball could be at stake.
A'ja Wilson is unanimous MVP. There's no debating it.
The current situation involving Caitlin Clark has brought to light a larger issue in women's basketball. It goes beyond just one player missing out on an MVP nomination. It's about the way the WNBA treats its emerging stars. Consider this. When you have a player like Clark dominating the court, breaking records, and still not receiving the recognition she's earned, what kind of message does that send? It's as if the WNBA is communicating to these young talents, no matter how exceptional you perform, we won't give you the credit you deserve. This treatment raises concerns about the fairness and support provided to rising stars in the league.
Caitlin Clark, I'm sure you saw, just became the all-time scoring leader. I'm curious, where would you rank her?
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard. But congratulations to her. I know, and don't take that for granted. They were getting them up 100%. So congratulations to her. But I think she got to win her one to really kind of have her name in that. But I mean, she's always going to be a great player.
The significance of this issue might not be immediately obvious. When outstanding performances such as Clark's are overlooked by the league, it doesn't just have consequences for the individual player, it also affects the entire sport. How can women's basketball be expected to thrive if we fail to acknowledge and celebrate our most exceptional talents? Furthermore, the current MVP system in the WNBA has some significant shortcomings. At present, it appears to heavily favor well-known players on successful teams. But is this an equitable approach? What about the players who are single-handedly carrying their teams to victory? Many fans and analysts have raised an important issue about MVP considerations: the exclusion of standout players from the ballot based on team standings.
I told myself it's not racist for me to like Caitlin Clark's game and to say so publicly.
Rachel Demita's point about Caitlin Clark potentially being left out due to fears of excessive praise for the golden child raises questions about the fairness of the selection process. Should rising stars be held back because of apprehension regarding excessive accolades? The proposed solution involves implementing a more transparent and impartial MVP evaluation system. This revised approach would scrutinize individual contributions more closely, shifting the focus away solely from team success. After all, a player's value can be significant even if their team is not leading the standings.
Caitlin, you're really not a rookie anymore. Just shoot it in the fourth quarter. You're that good. You've proven to be that great.
It is crucial to recognize that the significance of this issue extends beyond Clark and the MVP race. It has profound implications for the future of women's basketball. Failing to acknowledge these outstanding performances could lead to detrimental consequences. It may result in the loss of young talent and a decreased interest among girls in pursuing basketball as a viable career option. Such a scenario would be devastating for the sport that we all cherish. This underscores the pressing need for the WNBA to take decisive action and demonstrate that they value all their players, not just the well-established stars. It is imperative for the league to establish that hard work and remarkable talent will be duly acknowledged irrespective of the player's team or tenure in the league. Rachel Demita has sparked a lot of discussion with her comments about Caitlin Clark's MVP snub in the WNBA. She's arguing that the league's decision is incorrect, and her viewpoint seems to resonate with many followers of the sport.
Do you think about it as the single best, most skilled player in the league, which right now is A'ja Wilson? Give her the crown. That is absolutely hers. Or is it the most valuable and most impactful to the team?
Can you believe it? Clark isn't just good on the court, she's truly changing the game. However, despite her impressive skills and impact, it seems like the WNBA is stuck in their old ways. Demeter is calling them out, suggesting that they may be hesitant to lavish too much praise on the golden child. It's frustrating to see such reluctance to acknowledge and celebrate a player who is making such a significant impact. Is it time for the WNBA to reconsider its approach to selecting the most valuable player, MVP? Are they perhaps not fully recognizing the players who are truly making a difference on the court? Our voices as fans hold significant influence and can spark change within the league. It's not just about one player, it's about shaping the future of women's basketball. Let's make our voices heard and ensure that the true game changers are given the recognition they deserve. So, what do you think? Is it time for the WNBA to reassess their MVP criteria and give Caitlin Clark the recognition she deserves? Are we overlooking the real game changers in favor of big names and top teams? Your voice matters. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and the latest updates on women's basketball. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more game-changing content.